right, Math 97, Section R5. We're going to talk about properties of real numbers. The first one that we're going to talk about is the identity property. For any number A that's a real number, meaning any number on our known number line, for addition, the identity would be A plus 0 is A. For multiplication, A times 1 is A. So the idea of the identity is you want to think about getting back what you started with. So we started with A, and if we add 0, we keep A. If we start with A and multiply by 1, we keep A. So use of the identity property to complete the statement. If I want to get to 2x and I have plus 0, then I would need to add 2x. If I need to get to pi and I'm multiplying by 1, I would do pi. So notice 0 is the additive identity and 1 is the multiplicative identity. The next property is the inverse property. The inverse property for addition says the following. A plus negative A is equal to 0. And for multiplication, A times 1 over A is 1. So the answer for using the inverse is either 0 or 1. So if we use the inverse, 9 plus negative 9 would be 0, and negative 10 times negative 1/10 would equal 1. So what we have here is that for addition, negative A is what we call the opposite, and 1 over A for multiplication is what we call the reciprocal. So the next property is the commutative property. So for any two numbers, A and B, the commutative property says A plus B is the same as B plus A. For multiplication, A times B is the same as B times A. This does not hold true for subtraction and division. The key is the order does not change the outcome. So if we use the commutative property for y plus 6, we'd get 6 plus y. And for 2, we could say gh plus 12, or we could leave the 12 and swap out the order of the h and the g. So if I ask for an everyday example of the commutative property, that means two tasks where the order doesn't matter. So for example, you could get dressed and eat breakfast in either order. It does not matter. So for property 4, we're going to talk about the associative property.
What time?
The associative property says that A plus B grouped together plus C is the same as A alone plus B plus C grouped together. Multiplication is AB grouped together times C, and that's the same as A times BC. Does this hold for subtraction and division? No. So the key is the grouping does not change the outcome. So for example, 1, S and 7 are grouped. If we want to use the associative property, we could group R plus S and leave 7 off on its own. For 2, we have 9 and A grouped together. So using the associative property, we could have the 9 and we could group A and B together. The last property is the distributive property. The rule here is A out in front of B plus C. Says you multiply everything with A that's inside the parentheses. So A times B plus A times C. So you remove the parentheses. So for problem 1 here, we're going to multiply everything inside by 4. So 4 times 5x is 20x. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 3p is 12p. For 2, we're going to multiply everything by 5/8. So 5/8 times y is 5/8 y. And then maybe here on the side, we're going to take 5/8 times 16. We'll put a 1 under it to see how it relates to 5/8. Multiplying fractions, we look to reduce first. So 8 goes into itself once, and 8 goes into 16 twice. And then we multiply across. We get 5 times 2 is 10 over 1. 10 over 1 is 10. So a concept check. Which property is being illustrated for each of 1 through 5? So for problem 1, I see that we are adding 0 to keep what we started with. So this is identity. On problem 2, I see that parentheses are on one side and they're not on the other. The 2 has been distributed, so this is distribution. On 3, x and 2 are grouped together on both sides, but the order has changed. So on the left, it's x plus 2, and on the right, it's 2 plus x. So this is the commutative. Problem 4, x and 2 are grouped together on the left, but 2 and w are grouped together on the right. So this is the associative. Negative 2x plus 2x undo each other, and the idea of undoing each other is the inverse. So finishing up R5, we're going to look at a warm-up here, so combining like terms. So remember, to combine like terms, 1, you have to have the same variable, and 2, you have to have the same exponent. So all of these individual terms in problem 1 are like, because they all have a y. So we simply move left to right. So negative 12 plus 4 is negative 8y plus, bring down 3y plus 2y. Keep moving left to right. So negative 8y plus 3y, opposite signs you subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. So negative 5y plus 2y. And then you subtract again and keep the sign of the bigger number, and you get negative 3y. For problem 2, they don't all match up. So negative 8x goes with 3x, goes with negative 5x. Negative 12 goes along with 9. So if we take negative 8x plus 3x minus 5x and rearrange them to be together, and then we write minus 12 plus 9, it's easier to combine like terms. So negative 8x plus 3x, different signs, so subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number, you get negative 5x minus 12 plus 9. Now these are carrying the same sign, so we add and keep the signs, we get negative 10x. Negative 12 plus 9 is negative 3. So that is our answer to problem 2. Now examples where it says simplify each expression, 1, 2, 3. You're first going to have to distribute and then combine like terms. So you're going to distribute the 3 through the first set of parentheses, 3x minus 12. You're going to distribute 5 through the next, plus 10x plus 5. And then you're going to combine like terms. So 3x goes with 10x for 13x. Negative 12 goes with 5 for negative 7. You cannot combine those any further because they don't share the same variable x. Problem 2, you're going to distribute negative 2. Negative 2m minus 2. Now, m minus 4 has a negative sign in it. So what's really secretly sitting here is negative 1 that has to be distributed. So negative 1 times m is negative m, and a negative times a negative is a positive 4. So negative 2m and negative m are added because they carry the same sign, so you get negative 3m. And negative 2 plus 4 you subtract because they're carrying different signs, and you get positive 2. Last one, negative 4 in front. We're just going to carry down. The next 4 is sitting right in front of that grouping symbol, so we're going to distribute. So we get plus 16k minus 12. Negative 6 is going to be distributed, so we get negative 12k minus 48, plus the 7 comes on down. I like to combine variable terms first. That means the ones with the letters, so 16k and negative 12k we're going to combine by subtraction and get 4k. Now we're going to take negative 4 minus 12, so let's write out what we have left. And let's work left to right. So we keep the 4k. Negative 4 minus 12 is negative 16 minus 48 plus 7. 4k, negative 16 minus 48, you'd add and keep the sign. So that would be negative 64 plus 7. Now you're going to subtract because your signs are different. So you get 4k minus 57.